What's up, guys? It's here, in Japan as usual, Curry Ninja MMA. It's a cold night. I am tired. Sleep has been a long day. And, I got working on some videos for you guys. But here I got this news about Cody going down to flyweight. As you know, you must have seen that on ESPN MMA and some other channels, other MMA websites are picking it up, talking about it. I thought it was very interesting. And you know what? He was talking about this. I liked the interview. I watched it on YouTube. And I have to say, I really liked his attitude. I'm a fan of Cody's, man. He's one of the fighters I really like to tune into. I mean, he's gonna give a really fun, interesting fight. Okay, it's gonna be, you're on this edge of your seat. You know what's gonna happen, right? And anyway, talking about that, I liked his attitude though. Going back, and he's had this attitude when going up, talking about his losses and everything. He didn't make excuses. Now, when you have, even from a betting perspective, or just if you're a fan in general, you want to see the fighter have success. When you see them have a loss, what you want to hear out of their mouth is not, "Oh, he just got me. It was just his night. Oh, it can happen to anybody." Like, you don't want to just hear that. Of course, there's truth to that, but he doesn't make excuses. He says, he right away, when people were like, talking trash to him and trolling him, he was saying right away that, he knew he was like fighting like an idiot. He was admitting it. He said it. Those are his words. And I like that he was talking about the different trainers. I suggest you go watch that interview. It was interesting. I like that he actually talked about that, having a game plan. He says he's going in there and he was struggling with injuries. As you know, if you followed him, I mean, he was like pissing blood. I mean, he had kidney issues because he said it stemmed from most likely some injuries had in his shin or something. Like he had these kind of kidney issues, right? He was pissing blood. I mean, I saw on Instagram as well. I mean, I saw on the MMA news outlets like kind of showing that stuff. Like, damn. So he said, I mean, all MMA fighters that go into fight with, going through camps, right? They're going to have this wear and tear on the body. They get injuries. It's, of course, going to happen. But he was saying himself that he kind of felt like, of course, bad game planning. And he said his focus was more on trying to just get healthy, make it to the fight, right? Get through the camp, have a good camp. Okay, try to train as much as you can. Do well, right? Sharpen the sword while trying to get off the injuries and just make it there. And so he said he's a good fighter. He likes fighting, but he doesn't have to make it a bare knuckle brawl, right? Like this kind of bare knuckle boxing style, or just go into this kind of brawl. He said he can actually, do what he did to Dominic Cruz, as we all know, having a really great fight against him, a masterclass, as they say. I mean, just really great. And one thing though, I remember people talking about Brett Okamoto in that interview was talking, just really, really good, fair, kind of level-headed journalism. He just kind of said, "Oh, what are these issues about losing your chin and all this?" Whatever. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but like there's, people comment about that. Oh, perhaps you lost your chin. That's a concern of some fighters down the line. But he says, nah. I mean, I like that he kind of talked about that. It's just more about like fighting, the way he was fighting. And I think Dominic Cruz, if you look back, when Dominic Cruz was calling the fight when he was losing against, I think this was when he was his most recent fight, Munoz, when he was talking, because obviously we all saw that Cody was like winning. I mean, obviously being the guy, Munoz was really hurt badly. I mean, landing like a couple flying knees on him, and just like landing all these, a bunch of shots. We have to go back into that, but watch that fight. But it's a really good thing. And like I was gonna say, I'm sorry, these people are walking by. Like, what the heck? Then what is it? The patrol here, they have their two dogs. It's like a night patrol. They have their little light on their head, and he like shine his light on me. I guess he's looking at me. But I was like, yeah, I'm talking in my car. But anyway, geez, throwing me off my game. I'm tired. I'm trying to record this before I get back in my house. But anyway, let's go back into it now. Dominic Cruz, really, I like that he said that he has to be a fair journalism. He was calling the fight. One of the commentators, and he was saying like how people are talking about maybe it's his chin is gone or whatever, but no, it's not that. If you take these shots, I mean, heavy-handed Munoz landing shots. If you just take these clean shots in a row, and I don't care who you are, you're gonna go out. And that's why Cody has to fight well to go to actually, we all know, like not fighting us in a foolish way, okay? So he's talking about this, and people are talking about like maybe he has kidney issues, all these health issues. Is it right to go down? Well, he was telling himself. I mean, he walks around and like, look. He walks around, he told himself 145, and he's mentioned going down before, like, this was before his losses, like, he was talking about going down to flyweight. He was interested in that, have some interesting matchups down there. I mean, obviously, back at the time, he wanted to be, like, a double champ, and, I think, what was I going to say, yeah, he's talking about that. I mean, after sparring sessions, he's, like, hovering at 142, 143, and if you look at old videos, even if you go back, on his channel, even that Chad Mendes was talking about that, too. I mean, you go back to old interviews, they're talking about what are you at? Like, 140 something. I mean, he's not a huge bantamweight. I mean, he's good bantamweight. He's naturally, it's easy for him to cut down to that weight. I mean, there's embedded where he's like eating s'mores or some crap. He like a s'more when he's like, before the fight or something. He's easily makes the weight, right? I mean, TJ and stuff like that, these other bantamweights, I feel like maybe size as far as their height and everything, they look like a bantamweight, but they're balloon up. I mean, the body's different. I mean, I think it's not a big deal going down to that weight. So I think, and he even said himself, he wants to go back. He wants to get the Assunção fight because it got canceled, obviously, due to his health issues. And then there's coronavirus crap messed it up anyway. He wouldn't be able to fight anyway. But initially, he had pulled out because of his kidney problems. He says he's healthy. Everything's going back. He's going back to training. Everything's going well, which I'm, thankful for, right? We always want these fighters to come in there healthy. We don't want them. You don't want to see a compromised fighter, right? You want to get them in there as healthy as they can. And he was talking about that. I like it's interesting. He says like going to Assunção, first getting that business out of the way, and then dropping down to flyweight and have some interesting matches there to bring some life into it, which I thought was really cool. And there's some interesting matches up there. Like if you look, Figueiredo, look at that. At flyweight, he's like the number one contender. Of course, he beat Joseph Benavidez, but I mean, he missed weight by quite a bit, and that's an interesting one. Figueiredo's got that power. Jonas Benavidez would be an interesting one too. I mean, look, on paper we thought he was going to beat Figueiredo, but nah. I mean, look, power. That power, man, it's there. Not just that. It sounds like just it has power. I mean, obviously the game plan of Joseph Benavidez played into his hands. I mean, you can't just go rushing into him. So Joseph Benavidez, of course, has great cardio. When you drop down the flyweights, they're all gonna have this great cardio. Look at Demetrius Johnson. Speaking of which, I wish he was in that. I mean, that's a great fight. I mean, Cody was talking about fighting him. He's like, oh, I'd like to drop down and fight Demetrius Johnson because he was champ. Really, because if Cody could have done that, like a masterclass against Cruz, masterclass against Demetrius Johnson, which of course I'm not saying that would exactly happen, but I'm just saying if you could beat the two arguably pounds in their divisions, holy crap, skyrocket his fame. But anyway, there's another one too. I think an interesting one. Brandon Moreno, man, he did well. I remember he beat Formiga. I remember I was watching them fight, and of course below him is a Formiga. These are really good guys too. Moreno's been looking good with his hands. His boxing gotten better. I think that'd be a really fun matchup. People will love that one too. And Formiga's also really good. Looks on paper. I mean, he doesn't have the hugest name, but I mean, he gets it done. His striking is good. Is pretty polished. He's got the good ground game. I mean, all around really well-rounded fighter. Below him, we have Alexandre Pantoja, another Brazilian, really good guy. I mean, that'd be a fun fight. I think a lot of people like that. He's got power. He's gonna want to swing. He wants to do the stand-up. He has got, his good Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. But he's the kind of guy who's takes a shot to give a shot. That could be really fun. And I think if Cody were to beat someone in this top 5 division, I think that'd be really great. And I think there's some really fun matches. Man, shout out to Kyoji Horiguchi, man, that'd be cool. I mean, he's fighting in Ryzen now, of course, but I remember back in the day, I remember when he fought Demetrius, and other than Demetrius, he was looking good. He was kind of starching everybody. That would have been a fun one too. But there's a lot of good matchups there, and I think he said he could go to bantamweight and also go to flyweight. He could do both. I don't mind jumping back and forth. I think it'd be easier for him. He didn't really struggle to make bantamweight, and he's walking around. Demetrius Johnson, for God's sakes, he said his walk around weight is actually heavier than Cody's supposedly. Cody can walk around 145 or something, right? So cutting down to 135, it's not a big deal. He can just lose 10 pounds. He says it comes off pretty easily. I think dropping down, he's still young, 28, right? And I think 27, 28, right? I think it'd be fine. I think it's the time to do it. I think it's cool if he can beat Assunção in a good way. Comes with a good game plan. Yep, it's absolutely doable. No problem for sure. But like I said, time will tell, and I would like to see him come down to those flyweights. What do you guys think? Let me know, man. I think it'd be cool him jumping back and forth a little bit, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, it seems like maybe he wants to do the Assunção fight and then come down to flyweight, kind of get some and give a couple matches there. I mean, it'd be cool to see him match up with Cejudo too, man. Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, look what TJ. If TJ got starched by Cejudo, but then Cody comes in and beats him, I mean, because TJ had a horrible. I mean, we all know the EPO and stuff like that. I mean, it's gonna always be an asterisk next to TJ's name. TJ's a great competitor though, man. You cannot deny those skills. But I don't think Cody will. When Cody does the flyweight, I don't see him being drained like TJ was. TJ's kind of heavy for the bantamweight. I mean, when they're fighting too, I think he's at least 160 pounds in there. Cody's probably 145 or something. So yeah, I feel like he won't have as much of a problem going down there if he's planning out well. And I think, I'd like to see how his cardio, his speed, his power translates down there. And there's really fun matchups down there too, man. I'd like to see him kind of do both divisions. So let me know what you guys think, man. What's up, guys? It's here, in Japan as usual, Curry Ninja MMA. It's a cold night. I am tired.